All right. Oh, by the way, I'm wearing a shirt from my upcoming t-shirt collection. This is Love Your Heart Out, and it's got the big print in the back. Okay, so today, my friends, well, I totally forgot the welcome. Hi, welcome, blessings from Encinitas in California. My name's Connie from Live Your Heart Out, and today we're gonna talk about what the fuck is spirituality really? Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So I believe that the word spirituality has a massive PR problem. What I mean by that is, I don't think people like the word very much. And I think it has a bit of a shitty reputation. I also think that a lot of people have a wrong idea of what spirituality really is, because it's nothing serious, it's nothing yucky. I don't believe it has anything to do with woo-woo craziness. Doesn't have anything to do with Birkenstock shoes whatsoever. I think it has way more to do with Converse, because those are the kinds that I like to wear. And for me, spirituality has absolutely nothing to do with religion. I am super spiritual. I'm spiritual as fuck, but I'm totally not religious, and that works. And all I can say, and that's all I'm going to share in this video, is my very humble, subjective opinion and idea. This is not going to be a Wikipedia entry. This is just what spirituality means to me, and maybe it works for you, that you can reflect on that and maybe take an idea or two. Okay, because I kind of want to lay the foundation for all the videos that are going to come, and kind of also for all the videos that I've already made. So that we're kind of clear on this. I don't want any misunderstandings. I don't want people, making judgments or criticizing me. I mean, I'm much better these days, taking criticism and judgment. All good. You can go ahead, criticize, judge me, whatever. So above all, and this is the first thought that came to mind when I sat down to take notes for this video, was above all, to me, it's all about connecting to myself, going deeper into that connection with my soul, with my heart. It's about getting to know myself on a real deep level. You know how some people say they want to go out and find themselves? Well, that's, to me, kind of that's what spirituality is. The spiritual path is to get to know yourself properly and to find yourself, to connect to your inner voice, your desires, your needs, your intuition, and to really find out who you are. Like, what is your essence? Who are you really underneath all of these layers of conditioning? That's, to me, what spirituality is. Getting deep down into these parts of ourselves. And connected to this, to me, it's about searching for the meaning of life. For me, this has been a really big thing. I've always kind of asked myself the big questions in life. What's the meaning of life? What's the purpose of life? Why am I here? And it's about raising my consciousness, raising my awareness of myself, but also of others, of my surroundings, my environment, generally becoming aware of all my conditionings. It's so beautiful to become aware of all of them. Becoming aware of all these limiting beliefs. Like I said, there's all these layers and layers and layers that we've conditioned into, sort of, through our families, our childhoods, school, the media, all of that, and getting down, like stripping all of that away and digging, so we get to the core of all of that, of ourselves. And to me, it's also increasing my awareness of energy, feeling energy, sensing energy, and realizing, and this was a big point in my life, that there's so much more out there than we can perceive with our senses. Whatever we perceive as matter, I can touch myself in the chair and the camera, but in the end, this is all energy. Everything's energy. I'm only energy. I'm just, you can only see and perceive me because I'm hooked into some form of frequency and vibration. But realizing that, and then realizing that whatever we can perceive with our senses is really only a small, tiny percentage of all the energies that are out there, and kind of becoming more aware of the power of all of these energies that are out there. And as I started to explore these different energies and vibrations and frequencies, I also became more aware of how I can raise my own frequencies and go from all these more feelings, like darker feelings of, you know, let's say jealousy or anger, into, you know, raising up into feelings of peace and love and kindness. And those feelings in themselves, or striving for them, let's say love, for me at the end of the day, it's the essence of everything is to spread more love and more kindness. And I think being on that path and having that as a sort of like a compass, to me that's spirituality as well. Also, I'm a yogi. I've been doing yoga for I don't know how many years now, and I also did my yoga teacher training, which was a very spiritual experience for sure in many ways. But becoming more connected to the yogi ways of being and living, and the yamas and niyamas, kind of like guidelines for life. You know, things like non-violence. For me, being vegan is a spiritual path in itself. Or truthfulness is part of that as well. Also detox and purification practices like fasting and all of that a lot of yogis do. For me, those are very spiritual practices. I like to fast at least once a year in one way or another. Also, I just did a plant medicine journey in Ecuador, and that was extremely spiritual experience, which was extremely beautiful. Not super easy and definitely quite challenging. But again, this is part of the going deeper within and connecting more to my inner core and my inner truth. And on this journey of all of this that I've just mentioned, spirituality in the end is also really about connecting to that feeling of oneness and becoming aware that we're all whole and that we're all connected to each other as a collective sort of entity, that there really is no separation. I think that's probably the real essence of spirituality is that striving for love, because we're not separated, we're all one. And I've had these experiences several times now in the past few years, let it be through meditation or other spiritual practices, even at a Tony Robbins event and a Dr. Joe Dispenza workshop, having experiences where you feel deeply that we're all one, that we're all connected, and there's no feeling that's more fulfilling than that, and more loving and more beautiful. I think when people say they're enlightened, I think they're in this constant state of feeling this connection to everyone. I think they have kind of overcome this illusion of separation. That's kind of my idea, I think. Maybe I'm wrong, who knows. And with all of this, for me one day also came the realization that I suddenly felt connected to something greater than myself. Some sort of spirit, some sort of, I call it the universe. I feel connected to the universe. Other people call it God. For me, that word doesn't work, but I feel like essentially it's all the same thing. Call it grace, call it universe, call it spirit, call it God, call it Allah, whatever. It's this idea that there's something that is sort of guiding us. And it's something that I trust in, that everything's going to be good, and there is a point and a sort of reason for everything that happens. That's where I'm at with my spirituality, for sure. For me, spirituality doesn't really have any rules or laws or anything like that. I believe that spirituality in itself is a very unique thing, and we can all choose in whichever way we want to embrace the spiritual journey, and there's no right or wrong. And you can say fuck, and you can drink alcohol, and you can eat chocolate and gluten and all of that, you know, and if you want to eat meat, eat meat. For me personally, let's say indulging in that, let's say drinking or shitty food or, you know, that kind of stuff, or drugs, it's not gonna make me less of a spiritual person, but these things might be a bit in the way of a real, true, deep spiritual connection to myself and to this greater entity. And for example, I won't say that eating meat is wrong, but for me, being vegan and plant-based and not eating animals or, you know, consuming dairy products, for me, that's an expression of non-violence, of being kind, of spreading love, not just to my fellow human beings, but to any being out there. At least, in my illusion, makes me feel more spiritually connected to myself, to Mother Earth, to Father Sky, and to everything that's alive on this planet. And so the big question is kind of, are we human beings having a spiritual experience, or are we spiritual beings having a human experience? I believe we're spiritual beings having a human experience rather than the other way around. I'm a soul. I believe in kind of reincarnation. I believe I've been here before. I believe I'll come back many times. I believe that my soul has things to learn in this lifetime as a human. And that's how I can also face challenges in a more, in a way that helps me to see the lessons in them and to understand that whatever hardship I have to face or suffering, that there is a purpose in that it's not completely useless. So I look at myself as just some sort of, I'm a vessel, I'm a soul that is in a human body because I have work to do. Work in the sense of I need to learn, I need to grow, and work in the sense of to serve others, to contribute while I'm alive. And what I find super fascinating these days is that there's more and more people, such as, for example, Dr. Joe Dispenza and many others, Greg Braden and Bruce Lipton and stuff, who have come to bridging spirituality with science. So here are scientists, people, medical doctors and all that, who are connecting spiritual ideas to real science-based research. And I find that super fascinating, and I think we're living in a very important time right now, because like I said in the beginning, spirituality has a PR problem, but I feel like the work by these people is super important right now for people to understand that, for example, energy is not just, you know, something crazy and some unrealistic idea, but it's super real, because, you know, now these people come along like Joe Dispenza and whatever, and they measure things. They measure what happens to people in meditation when they have these out-of-body experiences, or generally just really profound spiritual experiences as they are deep in meditation. They can measure what happens to the heart when we connect to our heart and open our heart and send love out. And all of these ideas and concepts that might have seemed really far-fetched, and now they're kind of bringing them down into this world where so many people only perceive things with their senses and their rational minds. And so when I talk about spirituality, I'm really also talking about being on this spiritual path, this journey. And I've been on it in a more conscious way since like sometime in 2012. And this was when I had my initiation. This was when I had a big crisis happening, a big breakup, something that broke my heart and life into a million pieces. And I found myself in a place of intense suffering, and I had so many questions and I couldn't find any answers. And as I was having my dark night of the soul, I suddenly opened myself up to going deeper into this connection to myself and becoming more aware of myself in others. And so this is when it began for me about 6 years ago now. And I call this my initiation. And I feel like that's what happens to many people. That's how many people find onto their spiritual path, is through some sort of hardship, a challenge, a crisis. Let it be in relationships, you know, breakups, separations, or maybe a health issue, or it could be a massive challenge in their career or burnout, anything like that. And in many ways, that's how people kind of wake up from their deep sleep, and that's what happened to me. It's like almost I was sleepwalking throughout my life until that point, and then boom, I had to wake up. I wish sometimes that there would be softer ways to get to that same point, but a lot of us only really learn and grow and start opening our hearts when we have to, and when the pain is really strong. And so on my spiritual path, I have found so many answers. I've found a deep connection to myself, but also to this, to you, to people in my life. I have really been able to experience love, self-love, love for others, way more than ever before. I have gotten in touch with my true self and my essence and who I really am, and have learned how to express that, have tapped into my calling and my purpose to help other people, to serve. I've been able to heal myself, my soul, old wounds from the past, and overall I've just been growing so much as a human being, as a soul, on so many levels. It's just amazing. And every spiritual path, every journey looks a bit different. I recently created a massive resource, a blog post on Live Your Heart Out, outlining my entire spiritual journey with basically everything that I've done in terms of the different practices and all of it. And if you want, you can go and check it out. I'll link below the video or somewhere around here. And I also just wanted to show others that, you know, this is my spiritual journey to raising my consciousness and to healing. And I wanted to inspire others, like what's possible. I also wanted to share what helped me the most. I also wanted to communicate that this is mine and yours might look completely different. There's so many different ways to embrace that spiritual journey and to connect to ourselves, and that's the beauty of it, that there is not this one way to do it. For me, you know, when I was initiated back then, I think the way my window sort of into all of this was through Buddhism. For me, Buddhism is not a religion. For me, it's just like a way of life. And it really helped me in the beginning to find answers. And then through Buddhism, I started meditation and all of that. And still up until today, I don't call myself a Buddhist, but I love reading Buddhist texts and books, and I follow Buddhist teachers. But now I've found all these different ways to explore myself and life and spirituality. And all of this, my friends, this is what spirituality means to me. And maybe some of this made sense to you, maybe it inspired you a little bit, maybe it helped you to clarify your own idea what spirituality is to you. And that's all I guess I want to kind of spark, is ask yourself, what does it mean to you, you know? And I'd love to know in the comments, if you wanted to share, let me know what is spirituality to you. And I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye. Mwah.